Okay, so after 300 Lightroom tutorials on YouTube, over 200 in color and editing mastery, like editing for like 7 years now, posting Lightroom tutorials. These are 5 tips or ways of thinking about editing and working with color to get the style you want in Lightroom. So we'll go over some examples, do's and don'ts, what I wish I knew about working in Lightroom and understanding how to work towards the style you want. I'm close to 1,000 Lightroom tutorials over the last couple of years. So here's just 5 of these really important things that I wish I knew. So mistake number 1 is we always take inspiration from other photographers' editing styles. We spend hours and hours and hours and days trying to replicate their edits. And I did this, but their photos are it's completely different lighting. Your photo is taken in different lighting. So you're trying to match these edits and you're just not getting the right colors and you don't know why you're not getting a similar result to them. And this can take years to learn, but after 300 Lightroom tutorials of matching edits, I know what kind of lighting a photo is taken in, and then if I want those colors, I know how to work towards getting those colors. But your favorite photographer you're trying to emulate, the lighting is slightly different. It is cloudy, it is almost sunset, it's in the morning and not sunrise, and then that makes matching these edits really hard. And then what people try to do is they try to force these edits to look like their favorite editors, and then it becomes unnatural looking because the person you're trying to emulate would have edited your own image differently as well because it's different lighting. So right from the beginning you had no chance of recreating that person's colors, and this is because you haven't learned how to work with color and you just haven't had enough time to understand lighting and different lighting scenarios. But personally, I can look at an image on Instagram and have a very good idea of the lighting scenario, and then that lets me be able to use my knowledge of color to then match those edits. There's probably the time of day, one thing you have to know, then you have to understand color really well, and then the Lightroom tools. So for example, say there's blues you're trying to imitate, but these blues, they're taken in the shadows, so they're gonna look much different to your blues. So here in Lightroom, like if you understand the curves let you place colors where you want. So if you've got a dark image, you're going to be placing more blues in the shadows. So it's maybe not a good strategy to really force these edits that you're looking at your favorite photographers and trying to match it to yours without this understanding of like the time of day it could have been taken in, and then obviously how color works and tools on different brightnesses you can put your colors. So just understand, like you might have been doomed from the start trying to match these photos of your favorite photographers that you've come across. So what do you do about this? Like lots of repetition of trying to understand the time of day these photos were taken in. Then you simply have to learn the Lightroom tools and color. And then those 3 things over time, you will probably get to the stage of just looking at a photo and knowing how to get to that end result. So number 2 is lack of consistency. So instead of trying to match your favorite photographer, you're just trying to match your previous edit and make your feed cohesive by matching and imitating your own previous images so your feed looks nice. But you get into the same problem of if you've got shadowy skin tones, there's going to be more reds. The curves are affecting your skin tone in different brightnesses. So if you're trying to match skin tones and they're taken in very different lighting, you're going to really struggle. It's probably the first thing I've talked about, like not related directly to Lightroom. It's like learning how lighting affects your colors. So yeah, you're trying to match greens from your last edit, but your current edit has got different lighting. So even if you did match them, it would look very unnatural. So you have to be okay and know when it's like, yeah, this edit's not meant to match my previous edits, but your feed will still look cohesive over time because yeah, you should have more blues in the shadows in a shady shot, but then you've got greens and like you've got some green in the shadows, so they're going to take on those blues. Sorry if this isn't very beginner friendly, but this is definitely the sort of stuff I wanted to know, the more nitty-gritty ways of thinking and getting really into getting these cohesive feeds. Okay, not knowing how to use selective adjustments. So I have been fortunate enough to be able to see all the guest editors in the course and see how each person uses selective adjustments to edit their photos. So we'll go over some examples. There's Josh Ball. So he slightly will brighten the subject ever so slightly with shadows and contrast.
And usually it works very well just like that. It's highlighted that red there. Up the shadows, you can see how well it works. Now, editing is all a bunch of subtle edits.
Kyle Volgers does a lot to landscapes. Really impressive what he does.
I'm super stoked to be a part of this and can't wait to show you my in-depth workflow, starting here in Lightroom and moving over to Photoshop.
Endless amount of what you can learn there, but they can really change your image a lot. I get some people saying when they fill out the questions is they want their own style, but they also don't want to feel constrained to that style. You have to understand the tools very well if you want to have your own style, but be able to not feel constrained to that and have characteristics to your style that are consistent, but then some characteristics change throughout your edits. Getting a little bit complicated, but that's the end goal, and that's what I get a lot of people saying, and that's where you really have to understand these tools and color, and then you get to a point of simplicity and a system to editing your photos when you have fine-tuned a lot over the years. Not 100% a tip, but this is what I get people telling me, asking me, and that they don't feel confident to charge for their photography because of their editing. To start, you keep it simple, learn to color correct well, and then definitely building your own style lets you charge and get hired more, definitely. But at the beginning, keep things simple. Don't go crazy with your editing because that looks very amateur. Like the guest editors that I really like in the course, for example, is the ones that edit like film, and you'll see that they actually keep their edits very simple. So you can get to these simple edits pretty quick, and it's actually much nicer to edit this way. Cam, listen to Cam here, what she said.
Hi everyone, my name is Cam. I'm a travel and lifestyle photographer. I specialize in documentary work and street photography. And for the past few years, I've been trying to find a way to edit my photos in a simple way. I wanted to spend less time behind my computer, so I found a way to edit my photos for them to have this film look, but while being very simple at the same time. It was very important for me. So I hope I can help you with these few images and show you how I do it. And I'm currently traveling in Colombia, so sorry for the noises all around me, the dogs barking. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much.
Okay, so not sharpening your image with intent. People most of the time over sharpen their images. Some images need sharpening, some don't. Because I thought you just sharpen all your images the same, but after watching these lessons by Mac, I realized some images she increased the clarity and some images she decreased the clarity, but her feed still looks consistent. So she was adjusting the clarity depending on the photo, if it suited that photo. She was editing photos kinda individually rather than I drop clarity for every single one of my photos. So this photo, for example, it needed grittiness, it had a real gritty feeling, so she upped the clarity, and that was just really reassuring for myself that I can edit a photo individually and feeds can look cohesive. Drop the clarity just because it's soft and dreamy. This one is much more cinematic, so clarity up brings out all that grittiness and texture to the landscape. So we want that gritty. Look how gritty the image goes, brings out all the detail as we go further and further up. Okay, so the most common style I get messaged about when people want to achieve a look is the film look. One characteristic of the film look is not HDR. So people want to try to keep all their information, the photo, but a characteristic of film is just not perfect dynamic range. So it's okay to blow out your highlights, bloom your image. It looks really good overexposed. So losing detail in the highlights or shadows can look good. And how you do this is especially in the curves and understanding the difference between sliders and curves.
Hi guys, my name is Kaylee Taylor. I am a destination wedding photographer based out of Jacksonville, Florida for the digital images. So this image here is a photo that was shot on Portra 400. So this is 35mm film. So I'm actually going to be using that as a reference to edit this image here, which is a raw photo that is digital.
But one example is like lifting the mids of your curves can really bloom and soften your whole image and give it a glow. And then really upping the highlights and the sliders, curves a little, and then working with the curves so you get this nice bloom. You're losing detail, and sometimes it's very good to do this because highlights are unimportant and kind of distracting from the main subject, and same with detail in the shadow. So another mistake is people are in a very big hurry to create their own style, and I think you need to be able to emulate someone else's style and evolve from there. So take bits and pieces from other people's style and then learn color, learn the tools really well, and then slowly build your own style rather than just jumping in trying to create your own style. It's very tough. Creating your own style is very hard and comes naturally from just getting lots of different ideas from other creators and understanding the why and the effect all these different things have from these other creators, and then your style kind of evolves on its own rather than just saying I want my own style and editing. Like, however, you want to understand what these curves that look like this, what will that do to your image? And once you learn what every sort of different curve does, then you start to really hone in on your style. So yeah, explore different styles and then go into your own style. Okay, to sum up what we've covered, so number one was when you're taking inspiration, you have to understand how different lighting affects your image versus someone else's image. And it can be hard to know what time of day their photo is taken, what lighting, but you have to, over time, really think about that because you've just got no chance to replicate some of their colors to begin with. Trying to match your own edits, it's kind of the same problem where you don't know how to let colors change photo to photo, because if you just match them but that two photos were taken in different lighting and you match them, they will look unnatural. And the other one was selective adjustments and understanding how big of a thing this is. Being obsessed with detail and HDR, it's okay to lose detail in the highlights and shadows. And then the other one was in a hurry to create your own style. Keep it simple. You have to learn different ways of editing. So I was fortunate with all the 300 Lightroom tutorials that taught me different approaches. Same with all the guest editors. I've been able to learn different approaches, and then you fall into your own style. And I'll make more videos like this listing off all the things I wish I knew over the almost closing in on 1000 Lightroom tutorials. Yep, catch you in the next one. Comment down below what you guys want to know, learn about, whether that's how to control color, how to create your own style, stuff like that.